Where should my money go? And what should I do with it? This is the conversation I have with my kids often. We've been practicing this for years. And this is a game I started personally when I was roughly 18 years old. If you were 20, 25, you might be wondering now, what the heck? I mean, what is this guy talking about? My retirement is going to be 50 years down the road. Maybe, but the way this world works is that, mark my words, we all have to take a bigger responsibility when it comes to our retirement savings or money down the road. So speaking of that, what about then asset allocation? Where should I actually put my money? The never-ending question or topic is whether I should diversify or put all my eggs in one basket. The dilemma we have is that if you follow the money, if you look at what the truly super wealthy people have accomplished, they might tell you to diversify. But if you look at their track record, they all made their fortunes betting on one horse. They forgot to tell you that they diversified later when they have made all that money. On the other hand, wealth advisors tell you to diversify and be consistent. Money grows over time. It compounds. Interest on interest, which makes a huge difference in the long term. So which one is true? Who's right? They are both right. But the perspective and the direction they are, or the viewpoint is completely different. If you're an entrepreneur, this is your thing. You want to make a difference. And money is one of your biggest objectives in life. Betting on one horse is your only option. Trust me. But if you're more of a corporate person, you work for somebody else, and investments are your way of securing your financial future, you will definitely need to diversify. Somebody else has the control of your money, meaning you give it to somebody else, or maybe you invest in low-cost index funds, for instance. But to me, it's all about a split between active and passive. Let me explain. So active versus passive. So it's all about what you want to do. So if you want to control your own future, meaning you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to have that money in your hands, because you will invest the money either in your business or in your idea or whatever you're good at. But if you're more of a corporate person, meaning any extra money you have is going to go towards long-term investments, then you should definitely follow this diversification route. My personal story is such that I started investing, as I mentioned, maybe when I was 18 or 19. I first started buying stocks and some mutual funds. And those were my long-term investments. Eventually I ended up selling all my shares because investing in stocks was more like speculation to me. And what I mean by that is that I always felt that I had to leave a mark. I wanted to make sure that based on what I did, it had an impact on the outcome. I'm a builder, meaning I want to build something and see it grow. With stocks, I never felt that. It was more or less speculation. The market went up or down regardless of what I did. And that's why I fell in love with real estate and investing in small companies, owning and growing them, because it was something I was able to hold on to. It was tangible. It was something I controlled. So that's why I'm geared towards those two asset classes. So active versus passive. So the split. So if you're an active guy, 100% of your money needs to go here. You want to build your own business. Any extra money you have has to be geared towards that. If you're a passive person, then maybe you have a small portfolio that you play with. You invested in a small company as a minority stakeholder. That could be your 10% active portfolio, and then 90% you give to somebody else like a wealth advisor, or you invest in these mentioned low cost index funds. But then looking at this active path in more detail, within that, I'll draw two circles here. One highlights my competencies and the other money. So if you think about it, if I'm an entrepreneur and I know something about, in my case, real estate or small companies, that's where my competencies are. Or another example, let's say I was a fine art guy. I knew a lot about paintings. And I was true to myself and I wanted to understand what is it that I'm good at. And I draw this circle. Well, realistically, 90% of my knowledge is in art. And 10% is something else, whatever that is. So what should my money split look like then? Isn't it logical that your money split follows your competence split? 90-10. So 90% of your money then goes towards art. Exactly the way your competencies are. People often talk about their safe job and whatever their retirement position is going to be. But the only true bet against downturns or layoffs or firings is your skill set. So when we invest in ourselves, we always are backing up our own future, if you will. The same way with money here. Whatever you're good at, that's where your money should go. Some might tell me that, okay, I still have all my money basically invested in real estate and a couple of companies. So isn't that way too risky? No, if you look at it from the competence perspective. So that's what I know. So why should my money go someplace else then? If I want to control it, if I want to grow what I have and continue being an entrepreneur, then I'm a firm believer that my money should follow my competencies. It's a completely different story, obviously, if I started to work for somebody else and I didn't have time to study the market when it comes to real estate, understand the nuts and bolts of it, or grow small businesses. Then I would probably give whatever money I have to somebody else to invest it on my behalf or park it somewhere like those index funds that I mentioned. So it's all about the perspective. So there is no right or wrong. And it's not bad to be an entrepreneur or work for somebody else. It's all about what we are good at and what we want to do in life. We all make our own decisions. But this is the way I look at it. And as a last point, what I'm doing for my kids, or started doing when they were super young, where they were born. So I started putting their money in these passive asset classes, because at that point I didn't have time to actively invest on their behalf. So I wanted to have something that grows over time. So I've done both. So hope this helps, and let's talk about something else next time. Thank you.